All right. Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Makakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth. And shalom to the hopeful elect. All right, the Yaakov and the Aqua scattered around the four corners of the planet Earth. All right, this is the brother Arak, and got the brother Tashah with me. And wanted to do a lesson real quick. All right, I'll entitle it "Be Circumspect. Things are heating up." All right, be circumspect because things are heating up. All right, and really the inspiration of this lesson is coming from a couple different things going on right now. You know, you have the protests going on the West Coast. All right, the protesters, basically, defying, ICE. All right, detaining, Northern Kingdom, particular individuals. All right, but also you have on Trump's birthday, you also have a military parade. All right, a military parade celebrating the Army's 250th anniversary. All right, so we're gonna go into these two topics, so to speak. All right, and filter it through the scriptures. As the scriptures say, we're coming in the spirit of prophecy. All right, or in other words, we're paying attention to what's going on the planet Earth. All right, and we are, linking it with, what the Lord said was going to go down.
I got a precept.
You got that.
All right, so it's the second Ezra, chapter 15, verse 1. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith Yahweh Shai." It says, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Because how about Shai has blessed, men to go out on the highways and byways and sigh and cry for all the abominations that are done in the midst of Babylon the Great. Okay? And these are just, prophecies coming to pass, that show that, we are at the last end, and so it says, "Speak in the ears of my people." So that puts the separation. All right, everybody's not the Lord's people. Okay, only the elect and the 144,000 is going to understand, receive, and get the things of the Spirit. Okay, it says, verse 3. It says, "Fear not the imagination against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee." Because all this hell that's coming, was already prophesied to happen. Okay, all this with the Northern Kingdom, the 10 tribes that was put into captivity under the Assyrians. Now they're being trodden or brought low in Babylon the Great, which AKA America. Okay, and they're coming up against them.
Yep. Basically, we see Esau coming down on the Northern Kingdom, which when you read about the Assyrian and what is it, Isaiah 10, the Assyrian, the rod of my anger. All right, that was talking about literal Assyria, but that's also talking about the spirit that Esau is going to come in these times. And we see history basically repeating itself, because the same way, all right, the north, like the brother said, the Northern Kingdom was conquered and dispersed. All right, and then they came to the Southern Kingdom. We see the same thing playing out now. All right, we see them targeting the Northern Kingdom, but really we know that Esau wants to come and get Jake.
Because like the reason why they can't go after Jake directly is because of their long history here. All right, that slavery was a stigma against them, but now it has made them citizens, so-called. First they were 3/5 of a human being. Now they are, strong in this system somewhat. But the Northern Kingdom, they think of of them as being misfits. You know, they don't have a root here.
Yeah, the Northern Kingdom is easy. They're an easy target because they're here illegally.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Like if we're just gonna keep it real.
Yeah,
now we're not saying. Now we're not saying that obviously Esau stole all this land. Obviously, you know what I'm saying. But in regards to the legalities of the land, they didn't. You know what I'm saying. They didn't take the proper channels.
Yeah.
So they're an easy target. But really, like the brother read in 2 Ezra 15. This is what the scriptures, when scriptures talk about Jacob's trouble, we're in Jacob's trouble. We're here now, man. Ain't no more, it's crazy too, because you got niggas teaching that there ain't no Jacob's trouble.
Shit.
When literally we're in it.
Look around. Holy hell is coming to you. Try, bro. Northern Kingdom first, Judah gets it the worst. All right. It's just history being replayed. Just like I said, it's the history being replayed over and over again. Right? Like whenever the Black Party, what the Black Panther Party was on the scene, okay, that got quelled, and then the brown berets came up, which was Northern Kingdom, but they were both on the same tip, but they still both of them couldn't get anything done because they were looking at each other's plight and didn't realize that it was both the same plight. It's both Esau, Edom coming up against them. So it's happening all over again. But you got it.
Con, I'm gonna go ahead and get into this article. It's on NBCnews.com. It says Trump's border czar threatens arrest for immigration interference. All right, now, Trump. We believe that Trump, is Nero coming back. All right, whether he's actually the actual spirit himself or whether he's just coming in the spirit. Tomato. Nero basically represents historically severe persecution of the church, and then like we were talking about when you go into that word czar, matter of fact, let me read this real quick. This is just off ChatGPT. It says etymology of the word czar. It says it's Latin of the word Caesar, a title for Roman emperors, from the Greek Kaiser, transliteration used in the Eastern Roman Byzantine Empire. All right, so this word czar, this is how you know we're living in the revived Roman Empire. The fact that we're even reading an article and it's using this type of verbiage, it lets you know. All right, we're in the revived Roman Empire, that beast, whose deadly wound was healed, America. All right, NATO and the EU. All right, so it says Trump border czar, and this is his name is Tom Homan. All right, and we'll read about him in the article. It says Trump's border czar threatens arrest for immigration interference, warns Newsom and Bass not to cross that line. All right, and it says when you go into the article, it says the Trump administration's border czar warned that immigration interference will continue every day, or immigration enforcement, will continue every day in Los Angeles, hinting that even elected officials could face arrest if they interfere with agents on the ground. All right, so, here it is, the Northern Kingdom. All right, and it's prophesied, like we were just going into in class, Jeremiah 50 and 33, we will be oppressed together.
Yeah.
Let me get that real quick just to back it up. This is Jeremiah 50 and verse 33. It says, "Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel." Ooh, boy, my laptop's tripping. Jeremiah 50 and 33. It says, "Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together. All that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go." All right. And the children of Israel represents the Northern Kingdom, right? You so-called, Latinos, right? Native Americans, etc. And the children of Judah represents the Southern Kingdom, you so-called Negroes. All right. And historically, we know that we were both oppressed here in Babylon the Great. And even in South America, even if Northern Kingdom wasn't directly here in the States, they were still getting oppressed via, these lesser nations, Mexico, right? El Salvador, whichever one you want to choose, they've all been under the umbrella of Babylon the Great. But now we see in the Latin, recently, Northern Kingdom has been making that trip, migrating
all the way from the tip of South America,
right,
all the way up here to North America,
to the States,
because they opened them up, or they opened it up to them, but all that's prophecy.
Yep.
All of them are coming here to be judged.
Yep, that's what I was going to pull. This is 2 Ezra 15:10. Yeah. It says, "Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter." All right, so that's the thing. Northern Kingdom that came over here, and everybody really who came over here, you other heathen included, but especially Israel, y'all were brought over here. Y'all weren't brought over here to live up the damn American dream. That was a pipe dream that they sold you. Really, you were brought over here to fulfill prophecy. All right, and a lot of, and we know 2/3 of our people are getting ready to be slaughtered, moved out of the way.
And just to say about the American dream, the American dream was actually for these Edomites that was born in like the 1950s. Okay, because they springboarded off the backs of slaves, off the backs of the Southern Kingdom, Judah, the Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, that was brought over here, on those slave ships. All their wealth came from, all those Edomites' wealth came from them, okay, because they had free labor, okay. Now, the other nations that are coming over here think that that's still going on, all right. That's not going on, okay. Now it's all push for war, because Babylon the Great is just going over to their country, taking their resources and putting them in servitude over here, because you got to work. You're working, feeding the system little and little. Right, but Salakia.
I'm gonna read this again. 2 Ezra 15:10. It says, "Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt." All right. So we basically see prophecy playing out. Okay. Esau's getting ready to come down with great wrath. All right. The playtime. All right. The comfortability that we've, been in.
That's done.
That's over with. And that's why you got scriptures like 2 Ezra 16, like we have held. All right. Where it goes into how Esau's going to start, spoiling
and destroying
houses, man. Going to start just up. Warrant, no warrant. It's not going to matter. Very draconian, very authoritarian, operation is getting ready to pop off.
Kind of, because what the Northern Kingdom are doing over there in LA, it's just a breeding ground to push martial law. Yeah. All right, that's what Trump wants. He wants to martial law, but he wants the tribe to be the reason why they push it. Okay, so just like we said earlier, the Northern Kingdom gets it, but then Judah gets it the worst. All right, so whenever it fully pops off, it's going to be Northern Kingdom that starts it, but the Southern Kingdom, they're going to come in, kick in those, stepping over grandmamas, kids, everything. They're not going to care. All right, and y'all can't do shit about it.
March. Yeah, precepts. Sorry, I mean cut you off.
I was going to pull that 2 Ezra 16 and 71.
Okay, yeah, we can get into that. You mind if I read just another paragraph of this? We'll pull that. This is the next paragraph on this article. It says, Tom Homan, appointed by President Donald Trump, appeared undeterred by the volatile protest against federal agents in Los Angeles, meaning he didn't give a damn.
He didn't give two shits.
And that's the spirit. Esau getting ready to get back in that bag. Yeah. Like we've been warning you niggas about. We've been telling you what the scriptures say, never trust thine enemy, for as iron rusteth,
so is his wickedness.
So is his wickedness. That scripture right there lets you know that Esau's really gotten nastier. He's gotten worse. But he's been the Lord been holding him back.
Baba Kushak, could you pull that Ecclesiasticus chapter 13, start at verse 7? And then you can double back with that Revelations 12 and 12. So like
This is Sirach 13 and 7. Or
you can start at 6.
Sirach 13 and 6. It says, if he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope.
Going into Esau, Edom, and how he was treating the northern kingdom at first before he needed their vote.
Right.
He needed their vote to get in there. All right. And when he got in there, he just turned around and became a complete demon.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Esau deceived you niggas through the political system.
Yep.
You niggas was lined up at the goddamn ballot, at the damn ballot box.
Trump, yeah, all that shit.
Thinking that you could vote your way out of prophecy.
Nah,
which is impossible.
It was going to hit regardless.
Mm-hmm. And that's why scriptures go into, man. What is it in Revelation? 2 horns like a lamb, a spake as a dragon.
Yeah.
That scripture right there is going into Esau's political system.
Right there.
And it's bullshit. At the end of the day, the powers to be are going to force you into compliance. And that's what we're getting ready to see.
And it's all due to how Bashmi Shai. All right. All this is pushing our narrative through the spirit and power of how Bashmi Shai. Right. But get that 7.
Sirach 13 and 6, it says, if he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope.
See, he put you in hope of a better America. But that better America is whenever you bow down. All right. You got to bow down and receive that better America. Just same thing as the MOTB. You're going to have to bow down. Mm-hmm. All right. If you want to live in America with prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
Continue.
It says he will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou?
What do you need? Oh man, we'll give you whatever you need. Just come over here and nah, fuck that. Esau's getting ready to lay you bare, lay you down, all right, and step over you and go to the next one. But you have
it says verse 7, and he will shame thee by his meats until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice. And at the last, he will laugh thee to scorn afterward. When he seeth thee, he will forsake thee and shake his head at thee.
He will shame thee by his meats, by his dainties, by his health care, by his food stamps, and
all the things that he gave you.
Yeah,
so-called gave you.
So-called. But he only gave you that because Judah, was over here setting that up for you to have. It's because everybody springboard off the back of Judah. All right, Judah was the reason for those systems set in place.
Well, yeah, in Revelation 12, when it goes into you should be nourished for a time and a time. The Lord set up provision, for a certain level of provision because, a remnant had to be preserved.
But I say that point because Judah that was going to the food stamp office, getting WIC, getting all that, it was set up for them to have. It wasn't really for the immigrants to have. But whenever they came over here, Esau just gave it to them. Just to make the debt high. They had to push that narrative to get to where we are right now. But you can finish that out so I can.
Sirach 13 and 7, it says, and he will shame thee by his meats until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice, and at the last he will laugh thee to scorn afterward. When he seeth thee, he will forsake thee and shake his head at thee.
Because he got you in that trick bag. He's gonna laugh you to scorn. You thought you had a friend.
Can I read the next verse for you?
Verse
8, it says, "Beware that thou be not deceived and brought down in thy jollity."
In thy jollity. I wish you could pull that word.
Yep, I was gonna get it.
Yeah.
This is the definition of the word jollity. It says, lively and cheerful activity or celebration.
You're at peace. You're at peace, but he's a man that is cunning in his warfare. All right,
Jake been chilling, bro.
Jake been chilling.
Jake been partying and bullshitting, and that goes too for these camps that did that. Made the covenant, the 501c3.
Yeah.
They've been chilling, fashion shows,
getting their bread up,
traveling.
Yeah, going over to Africa and getting chased out that bitch. But hey, and that shows that Jake doesn't have an army here. That shows that Jake doesn't have any form of defense. Because they have always leaned on their enemy to protect them.
Yep.
But how about Shemiah Shai is our guard?
Yep.
He's our strong defense, our strong stay.
Mm-hmm.
But to you that hasn't received that, stay in your folly.
Yep.
But you got it.
I'm gonna keep going on this, and then I'm gonna go to the next article. It says Tom Homan, appointed by President Donald Trump, appeared undeterred by volatile protests against federal agents in Los Angeles. And by the way, there was a nigga, like the video I was talking about. There's a video of the protest where the dude was standing in front of the van, and he was like backpedaling, thinking that he was gonna stop the van from driving. All right, to stop them from detaining that group of people, and the van damn near basically just ran the nigga smooth over
because he was seen as a enemy combatant.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Like he didn't want no smoke, but they wanted blood.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull this 2 Corinthians 15 to 16. I'll start at verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh." And the sword, and remember, sword is a key word. That's a Esau buzzword.
Yeah.
That word sword is directly tied to Esau due to his blessing. Genesis 27.
Yep.
So let me read that again. It says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh," talking about Esau coming down with great wrath, "and one people shall stand up and fight against another with sword in their hands." So there's going to be skirmishes, there's going to be conflicts, civil unrest, civil war, all happening inside the U.S.
Right.
Verse 16, it says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power."
They're not going to regard their kings or their princes, right? That's their mayors and their elected
governors,
officials, the cops, the FBI agents, ICE,
the state,
everybody that because everybody, it's going to be a free for all. It's going to be a free for all, man. And you would need to be, stay in the spirit of Yahweh Shemiah Shai, to guide you through those set perils.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? Amos, how you should run into a house and the snake bites you. Salaki, I think it's Amos 9:8.
Yep. I'm gonna keep going on this.
Yeah, but show you guys.
It says enforcement will be a daily and current occurrence. He said in a late Saturday interview, and this is a quote that he said. It says, "I'm telling you what, we're going to keep enforcing law every day in LA." Holman said, "Every day in LA, we're going to enforce immigration law. I don't care if they like it or not." And that's coming to the totality of the United States. The situation that's contained within California, because especially us being down here in Texas,
oh man, you
got just as many, if not more, illegals down here in I said illegals, but what I'm saying, unregistered. You got more people down here than damn near and up there.
And this is already popping off in New Mexico.
Yep.
Everywhere ICE is popping off.
Right.
All right. And either they're not telling you, or they're waiting, you
Mhm.
know, for it to be in full force,
Mhm.
full effect before they even mention it.
Yep.
All right, and you're not going to hear a lot of this on the news, even though this article came via MSNBC.
Yep.
But that's only because that's a Democratic source.
Yep. And
Yeah.
we'll see how quickly things escalate, how quickly things heat up. And that's the thing about fire, like fire
quick.
spreads
Quick.
You know, and really by Esau talking this talk like this, it's really just gonna incite people more and more. And then too, we know there's agents everywhere.
Yeah.
So a lot of these protesters could very well be fucking agents. You know what I'm saying?
And just for the black
BLM.
Yeah, the BLM.
Agent provocateurs.
It was agent provocateurs and that breaking glass windows of stores.
Exactly.
You know, but you know, whenever you look into them, it's just the Edomite, you know, dressed up like a nigga, you know, to pop shit out.
Damn mask on. Yep. I'm gonna get the definition of that real quick, just for edification. An agent provocateur, the definition, it says a person employed to associate with suspected individuals or groups with the purpose of inciting them to commit acts that will make them liable to punish.
See, and they want to get you caught up so they can put you away. You know, but hey, the match has already been struck.
Yep.
This fire is going to continue. Yep. They have started something, or so like, how about started something that they can't put out. You know.
Can I read this? I'm gonna read the second definition too.
Go ahead.
It says a person who secretly disrupts a group's activities from within the group.
Damn.
And that makes me think about what it's talking about, crept in unawares, right? Because you also have agent provocateurs embedded within these camps.
Yep.
All right, and it's only a matter of time before Esau starts giving them their marching orders to go ahead and do some stupid shit. And that's why GMS specifically has been so, fervent about not just letting anybody up in the camp and vetting people. But even that,
the Spirit's gonna vet you.
The Spirit's gonna vet you. But even that, we know like anything can happen.
Yep.
So, that goes back to the title of the lesson. Be circumspect, things are heating up. Shit could go down, man, really at any moment, anytime.
I mean, and then just to get that word circumspect, circumspect means to be around, spec means to look. So look around at your surroundings because hey, your head has to be on the swivel. Way shit rolling. You got it.
Yep. And then I'm on the next article, touch on briefly. It says on USA Today, this is going into the military parade.
Yeah.
All right. It says the stage is set and tanks are arriving to celebrate Army's 250th anniversary on Trump's birthday.
That'd be funny as fuck.
All right. So it says the stage is being set literally for the military parade June 14th to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army that coincides with President Donald Trump's birthday. All right. And I wanted to bring this out too, because military parades it's not just a damn show. Really, it's a statement.
It's a show of force.
It's a show of power. And I wanted to get this real quick. When you just ask, you go on chat. Damn, where'd it go? 1 second. Military parade. I just had it pulled up, but it went away. When you type in purpose of military parades, it says military parades serve several purposes, both practical and symbolic. Here are the main ones. It says, first, display of power and readiness.
Yep.
Parades show a nation's military strength, discipline, and organization. This can both be a domestic reassurance and an international warning.
So it's like what's going down. They have to fight the war on two fronts. They gotta fight it domestically and around the world. So they're trying to quell insurrections. They're trying to quell the people, to go and get it abroad. The same thing happened in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they were doing all the bread and circuses, because they didn't want any infighting at the home as they fought abroad.
Mm-hmm.
But you got it.
The second one, it says national pride and unity. They promote patriotism, natural identity, and solidarity among citizens.
They're trying to make it available for you to join the army. They want to look what we got over here, man. We got these guns and everything. You can come and shoot these, man. I was reading the article how nah, you good.
Yep, and this season too, like midsummer going into August, this is like prime, not protest season, but you got Juneteenth,
June.
You got the Independence Day,
July 4th.
July 4th, right, coming up, and these are all events where who knows what the fuck, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, pop off.
Who knows?
And what's that? Pray not your flight be in winter. All right, because in the colder months, you really can't move around freely. But right now, oh hell yeah, they have set up for everything to go down, soon and very soon.
Yep, I'm gonna read a little bit more of this. And if brothers want to read this article, they can. And just go into the details of it. I'll read a little bit. It says the day-long festival along the National Mall, because it's going to happen in Washington, D.C., but still, wherever you are, whatever part of the country that you're at on June 14th, as we were talking about, use wisdom, be circumspect.
Don't be out there trying to wild and get into the party.
Yep.
Hey, just sit back and watch. We are supposed to be watchmen. But you got it. So.
It says the day-long festival along the National Mall will feature a parade and fireworks display. The parade will include 6,600 soldiers, 150 vehicles, and 50 aircraft.
And it would be funny if they just pop off martial law right there.
Yeah, or somebody do some nut shit, some bug out, agent provocateur, do some dumbass shit,
and then pop off. Because that's what they're really looking for, somebody to strike a match. Because they're literally got gunpowder all around them. Literally, you got it.
It says the third purpose of military parades. When you look it up, it says political messaging. It says authoritarian or nationalist regimes often use parades as propaganda to legitimize their rule and demonstrate control. And I won't read the rest. That's pretty much all I get on that. But the point I wanted to bring that out is it made me think about, not like if you watch a documentary about like Nazi Germany. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing, like when you watch the documentaries, they always show their parades. They always show Hitler, you know what I'm saying, with the troops, and they doing the salute and got the chinks, and what I'm saying? And things are getting ready to go down, man. War is getting ready to pop off.
Like everything that we see, it's a buildup.
Yep.
This is the buildup. Hey, we are about to get delivered. Holy hell's about to pop off, and like whenever it pops off, it's gonna be one after another after another after another. There's gonna be no breaks.
Chain of events.
Yep. It's gonna be no breaks. Them birth pains. Them contractions come quickly. Until the baby's delivered. So holy hell's about to hit, man. Call him Bashimi Al-Shai. Call him Bashimi Al-Shai. But you got it. We can go ahead.
Khan, you got anything else you want to bring up? Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors again to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth. And shalom for the next lesson.
Shalom and shalom.